Hi, Jonathan Hobbs here, developer of the Hobbs Masters Needling Series and chairman of the AACP. Some of you will know me as the acupuncture physio, but I just want to share with you a little bit of history to put into context where I'm coming from when I'm talking about some of the ideas that I talk about. So, yes, I've been using acupuncture and dry needling for over 20 years in clinical practice, but for 10 years before that, I was an exercise professional and I used exercise for rehabilitation and strength and conditioning. So, my background is actually exercise. Strange now these days that people know me as somebody who specialises in acupuncture, but that's just because that's what I teach these days, and those are some of the ideas that I explore. But I'll also explore the ideas of exercise as well. I've worked in a number of different environments. I've worked in the NHS, professional sport, the private sector. Lectured at a number of universities. I've written degrees in sports rehabilitation and sports therapy for different universities. I've written courses on cardiac rehab, pulmonary rehab, exercise for mental health, exercise for diabetes and obesity. I've been an external examiner on sports therapy degrees and traditional acupuncture degrees, and I also lecture at a medical school to second year medical students on the neurophysiological mechanisms of acupuncture and how it can be used for pain and other things. I teach for a number of different organisations, including the NHS and a variety of private sector patients. I teach for the Ministry of Defence. I teach for English Institute of Sport. I teach for Sport Wales. I teach for a variety of Premiership football clubs. I teach in the US. I've taught with NFL teams. I've taught US military. I've taught Navy SEALs. Taught a variety of individuals across a broad spectrum of clinical practice. I've also, almost 20 years ago, I was a ward leader in MSc in clinical biomechanics, and I've also been head of a school of physiotherapy as well. So it's not all acupuncture and dry needling that I talk about, but when I talk about those things, I talk about them in the context of exercise, in the context of manual therapy, any other modalities. I also have a background in mental health as well, so I talk about those from a psychosocial aspect as well. And what I'm always talking about whenever I'm teaching are two main things. One, N equals one, the individual patient. And whenever I'm teaching on a course, I'm always talking about Monday morning techniques. What can you take away from here and apply Monday morning when you're faced with a problem that you've not necessarily seen before and you don't necessarily know how to treat, and you're wondering how this modality fits in with that, with your other modalities as well. So those are the sorts of things I talk about. Just thought it'd be nice to spend a few minutes giving you some context on what I'm talking about, so you can see where I'm coming from. Anyway, look forward to chatting to you again soon and hopefully catching up with you in person. You take care.